Welcome to the Antonio Parkinson Project. I am Antonio Parkinson. Today, we are talking ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. We're also talking the Trump conviction, 34 felony counts. Also, we have County Commissioner Charlie Caswell on the show, Dr. Alta Stewart on the show, and Sadie Langford on the show. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. I am Antonio Parkinson. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and all month long we have been doing shows revolving around educating people on mental health issues, education, and everything involving mental health. Also, I got my wonderful co-host in the building. Her name is Angelica Jelly Woods. Give it up for her.
Why did you forget about me? You know, you got on script real quick.
She wasn't gonna let me forward it. Angelica.
What?
DJ Kojak is all gussied up today, isn't he?
I don't know. What you doing today?
DJ Kojak in the building. Scratch it up for him 4 times, DJ Kojak.
Bam.
Yeah.
Look, Nadia just came in.
Right.
Look, Charlie Caswell in the building.
Yes, sir.
County Commissioner Cass in the building. Oh, look,
He's about to be turned up.
Okay. Angelica, first of all, I have to lay this out here.
I raised him.
Okay, I like you.
He is actually my county commissioner.
Oh yeah.
And I did raise him.
Yeah.
From a little wee pup.
A wee pup.
Now he actually has the
Corner office
symbol on his lapel now.
He got it on right now. He got a symbol on him right now.
Right. He didn't even have a lapel before he became county commissioner.
Lord.
Right. And so, but I got to give it to him. We always talk about this, and Weezy Phil. I call him Weezy. Y'all call him county commissioner.
County commissioner. I got it.
Feel free to chime in on this. We've created this formula up here in the north part of the city on how we elect people in the north part of the city, and you will have to have served the people first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before we even consider getting behind you to put you in office.
That's right.
Because this is what we say. Our motto is, I am not a politician. I am a servant that happened to be elected.
Right.
And County Commissioner Charlie Caswell fits that moniker, and not just that, but we all serve the people before we decided to run. We were serving out of our own pockets, for free, because that tell you where the people's heart is.
Yeah.
Ain't that right?
Yeah. If you don't serve before you have, you're surely not going to serve when you get there. So
Man, you'd be serving yourself. Man.
Yeah.
Some people start off serving and they get it and they stop serving.
Yeah.
So,
it looks like they serving.
Yeah.
But a real servant by the service that they done.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
We got receipts.
We got the receipt, right? And what's interesting about that too is, this I don't want to take us down a rabbit hole, but here's something to our people.
Stop talking about Parkinson. Go ahead.
Right. Here's something to our people. We have to make sure that the people, when we put black people in office, we have to make sure that black people continue to support them financially so they can continue to be in office to do the work for the black people. But what happens is this. Black people are a little slow or a lot slow to support, write a check for re-elections, this, that, and other.
Yeah.
And you have these other people and other organizations who have agendas that start writing checks to those black elected officials.
Where they do that at?
So, in the county commission. Right. And at all levels of government, right? And then, those people come with their ask or their agendas, and so then the black people that were not helping the elected officials stay in office, then they start saying that the elected official sold out or he works for the
I have a question though. So if you get, and this might be a dumb question, I want to ask
no such thing.
If somebody backs you up or whatever, and they not endorse you, give you the money, do you feel like you're obligated to complete their task, their agenda?
No.
Or is that because you know what I mean? Like, Or is that unethical?
That's like the legal version of bribery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but people do it all. I mean,
Well, the good thing I can say about the model that is in the North is that the people have put us in here, and that's the people we keep serving. And the longest because there's plenty of money that came out to State Representative Parkinson when he was running for office.
Plenty of money?
I'm talking
After
not
they-
after him.
Okay,
I mean, they tried to take him out of office.
Okay, gotcha.
They put money behind people who tried to take him out of office, but they money did not win. The
Gotcha.
people won because the people here in our district know that we're about the people's business.
He gonna clip.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
We need our people to support us financially. Also, when I say support us financially, I'm simply talking about, for your reelection purposes.
But how much does it cost to run a successful campaign?
It depends on what level of office you're running for. Like for me, my bottom line would be about $60,000 for reelection purposes.
That's not too bad.
That's the bottom, right? Yeah. And so, but what the beauty of us having the streets behind us is, we don't have to have as much money to run re-elections as other people do.
Yeah.
Like, and
makes
to
sense.
give you an example, not just myself, but School Board Commissioner Stephanie Love, we were the number one targets one re-election year. And I think there was about $150,000 spent on me. That was the budget spent on against me, and about $95,000 spent against her. And they got their asses whooped. That was an expensive ass whoop.
Right. They know better.
Oh, they said that lesson cost you.
Yeah. So I hadn't been messed with since then very much.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
And
Until I come for him. But other than that, he good.
Yeah, and I said, man, go and pull your petition so I can raise me some money.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and kick your ass at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of them. Dr. Stewart, you teach them wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But Commissioner, we're excited to have you here.
Appreciate you, man.
And we got to talk about this. Most recent news, most trending news. Former President Donald Trump. He was convicted of 34 felony counts. And, so what's interesting is the dynamics at the federal level when you're a felon versus the dynamics at the state level when you're a felon and you are an elected official or considering a run for office. They're saying this man can still run for president of the United States with 34 felony convictions.
But you can't vote with felony, right?
Well, he can vote. Felons in New York can vote.
Okay.
If he's a resident of New York, but I think he's a resident of Florida.
And they probably
they cannot.
Yeah. I don't know. But I just say this, it's sad that I heard even before this conviction came, people on Fox News saying, even if he's in jail, he's still going to be my president.
Wow.
They don't care.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now just imagine Barack Obama
Saying
doing the same thing.
Oh,
Oh, he'll be a ghetto. They would call him ghetto and all kind of stuff because he is. Trump is.
But they would change the rules so that he couldn't even run.
right.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. I
They'll
mean,
be in the house all night to get a vote. Yeah, to change that law. Yeah.
And he's going to get reelected. They're going to he's going to be able to vote. I bet you money he's going to be able to vote.
Yeah.
my thing is not so much about him being able to vote as much as it
Not
is
vote.
about.
I'm talking about run for president.
Well, he can run. They said they've already said it. It
he'll get
doesn't
elected.
stop him from being able to run for president. But what's interesting is you think about the United States of America and the possibility that the United States of America may have a convicted felon as the president of the United States of America.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Adverse childhood experiences, Commissioner Caswell, you've been really leading, the push. Got some state laws changed when it comes to adverse childhood experiences. Let's define that though. Let's talk about what that is. What is ACEs or adverse childhood experience?
Yeah. So adverse childhood experience for some who don't know, and I'm glad I'm coming before the great Dr. Stewart, who really is someone who really helped me understand it, what the research evidence behind it. Center for Disease Control did a study back in 1995, 1996 with Caswell out in San Diego. And a lot of the work that they did actually took those 10 initial adverse childhood experiences, which is physical abuse, emotional abuse, physical neglect, emotional neglect, household dysfunction such as drug use in the home, mental illness in the home, divorce, a separated parent, incarcerated parent. And it asked the questions, these questions of individuals before their 18th birthday, they had it. What the research showed time and time again, that those who had higher adverse childhood experience, for example, those who had 4 or more adverse childhood experience were like 1,200 times more likely to attempt suicide. You talk about 50 but 60% more likely to use drugs and alcohol. And so it has an impact. Why? Because the child brains begin to mirror what they see. And anytime we have a child in that situation, we ask the question, sadly, what's wrong with that child? But it's not what's wrong with that child, it's what happened to that child. So really changing the
Say that one more time.
Yeah, it's not what's wrong, it's what happened.
Yeah.
And so when we begin to ask the right questions, we'll begin to see the right results. And again, I thank for the guest you got coming next, Dr. Stewart, and the great work who helped me understand this, because I remember I was in a program with her in 2016 and she said, Charlie, you're doing the work. She said, but have you heard of adverse childhood experience? I'm gonna tell you, we was in the woods 5 days on a retreat and I came back and I cried for 3 weeks after she hit me with this revelation. Why? Because I was that young child and growing up in the Dixon Home Project, 14 years old, witnessed a friend shot in the head. You know our friend, well, that was a part of that. And 15 years old, I seen another friend shot. And so I went to school every day with that trauma. It wasn't until I was grown that I recognized all I kept hearing the teacher say was, "Where your number 2 pencil?" Never what happened to you. So when you look at me, I stand here today, I don't look like the 9th grader who got kicked out of 3 schools, who dropped out of high school.
No, you look
You
like
got kicked out of somewhere?
You got kicked out.
Right. I look like, yeah, but I did. And it was because of a lot of that anger that I took to school and hearing friends every day telling us, hey, you're going to either be dead or in jail, right? Coming from that drug dealing family. So all of that violence and things that we saw as a child, we began to act that out.
It creates a root.
It's rooted. And that's the thing is that we're not addressing the root cause. We are trying to chop the tree down and not go down and dig to the root of what brought that fruit to bear.
You know, it's interesting because in our pre-meeting, I was saying, you know, we may go over just a few minutes on this segment, but you know, there's not a child that you know, most children do not come into this world wanting to be the shooter, right, or wanting to be a killer. You know, most children come in this world, you know, hugging the parent's leg and you know, just being a child,
being a child, right?
You know, but somewhere along that way, you know, that norm changes for that child and they become something else, right? And you know, I was out at 14 years old. I was the shooter, right? Went to jail and you know at the age of 14 because I brought the gun to school. Was literally going to kill 4 children. Literally, I had my mindset with the consequences and everything. But I didn't come into the world like that. But growing up in a household, you know, where there was violence, growing up in a community where there was violence, seeing people getting shot and killed, and seeing people that their way to get rid of the bullies was to shoot and kill them. And so that became my norm. And so I was dealing with some bullies.
Right.
And so my intent was to get rid of the bullies the way that I learned to get rid of the bullies. Right. And you know, but I didn't know it, of course, obviously, at that time that I was dealing with ACEs. Right. And there's a direct tie to mental health, you know, because, and I wanna just touch on this and we'll bring it back to with Dr. Stewart is, you know, I'm a Marine, right? I went into the Marine Corps at 17 years old. And, you know, they train us to go into a war zone for 1 year at a time. And when we go into that war zone for 1 year at a time, we still come back after 1 year of it with PTSD. Imagine a baby that grows up in a violent community, right? You know, for 14 years, and you wondering why these babies are turning out to become the shooters, right? Right, because they are dealing with a level of PTSD or ACEs, right? You know, adverse childhood experiences setting up root and bearing fruit.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
And it's powerful you say that, because right now that's a case that I'm dealing with right now, a resolution. I'm bringing on this money to put more resources in juvenile court. Ever since I was that child, when I called it aggravated assault, thankfully the charge was dropped. I was in the jail for 3 days, no services, no mental health, no counseling. The child that just witnessed those murders now called on this charge, and now you put me right back into the streets. Well, that's been going on over 20 some years since I went to jail, and it was going on before that. So now pushing to put resources there, because guess what? In Veterans Court, we provide them with wraparound services, counseling, all of these things. But our children, we say the trauma that you weren't even trained for, you gonna go to adult jail, right? With no services. And that's the crime that's being committed, really sadly, in government, what I see today. And I'm hoping that I can have the support of my colleagues, that we push this thing through and put the resources there for these children. Again, we got to have that balance. But then at the same time, when you don't address what happened to them, they're just going to become older adults doing the same crime that they caught up in now.
And you know, and I used to sit on the criminal committee till they kicked me off for being too honest. And at the state, and I would tell them, right, number one, most of you sitting on this dais have never been through what a lot of these individuals have been through. One of the things that I thought was incredibly sad is that 70 plus % of the inmate population has been through Department of Children's Services.
Right.
Think about what I just said.
Yeah, I heard you.
70 plus % of the inmate population in the state of Tennessee has been through Department of Children's Services. So that means that the Department of Children's, the state,
had they hand on them before it even
department over children missed an opportunity to intervene. And cut the aces off.
And so because the state have not given us those dollars, we took it upon ourselves to put the money in the budget last year to have now 15 counselors that work at the juvenile court level. So when they come in for child support, or they come in for Department of Children, when they 3 and 5 years old, we're now providing wraparound counseling to parents at that age. And at that time, we haven't seen that in this county. And therefore, why? Because the data shows us those the babies that's going to end up into that jail system. And sadly, if I can say real quick, State Rep, that at the state level, we spend $750 million on 30,000 prisoners in the prison system, about that number, right? And sadly, let's take apples to apples, 30,000 children in the education system, we only spend about $250 million on. We spend 3 times more on a person in jail than we do on educating. When Frederick Douglass said 100 years ago, it's easier to fix a child than repair a broken man, but yet we're still putting more money behind broken men than we do behind our children.
Now, County Commissioner, I have a question for you, not to interrupt. So I hear a lot of, if you do something or whatever, you go through counseling, you want to implement those things to go to counseling. But what happened in your instance where you are witnessing something? Is it ever going to be a requirement? Let's say if you seen, like you said, seen somebody kill themselves, or you used to witness a murder, or you were part of whatever, something tragic. Can it be a requirement where they have to complete counseling, not just a suggestion? I'm assuming right now it's a suggestion, because I think that's a key component too, even with your story.
Yeah. No, I think it should be. I mean, that's the reason why going to the state some years ago, and thankful to State Rep and those who passed, even at that level, I think it was State Bill, Katrina Roberts, State Senator Katrina Roberts, that all schools become like trauma-informed, trauma-responsive schools. And then going back a couple of years ago, I went back that, and again, this is an aftermath situation, but Senate Bill 2588, where if you get divorced now in the state of Tennessee, parents have to go through ACEs training before the judge signs off on there, trying to push forward at marriage now to say, before you even get married, you need to go through this, because you need to understand the impact that it's going to have on the child if we don't get this right. And I think that's what's been happening. We have not been proactive with so many of these incidents, and then all we're doing is the cycle of trauma. Again, I was there because I'm in my second marriage, thankfully, 17 years now, but my first one was all my ACEs. And she's seen it, and thank God for grace to give me a second chance, right? And to have Dr. Stewart in my life to help me through it, right?
And to take accountability. A lot of people, that's the biggest thing. Nobody wants to take accountability for anything. So for the fact that you can say that is big, that's huge.
And then you have to factor in the fact that Teresa Caswell has the patience of Job.
It was made just for you.
Just for me,
right? She's the only one made for
I'm gonna say that. Okay.
Look, when we come back, there's a story trending about a little girl who was incredibly expressive when it came to her mom's defense when her mom was accused of stealing something. And we're going to talk about that because, you know, that baby seems like she was, you know, experiencing ACEs. And so we'll be right back. Don't forget to hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Grab a backwood and roll up. Grab your cup and let pour up. They didn't want us round it first, but now they act like they know what. Hey, but they show love, yeah, we show out when we show up. I don't even do the liquor, that shit might make me throw up. But we turned up, this the after party. Shit grabbing on my body. White girl got a bottle in the club, and that going all it. Turned up in a wreck the party. We just brought out everybody. No, we got our have some fun. We at the after party.
Hey y'all, it's Michael Kaya and it's the Antonio Parkinson Project I'm on. They have fun around here. They got chicken and everything. If you really want to get the word, know what's going on in your neighborhood, in your community, in your blackness, you need to tune in to the Antonio Parkinson Project. And ain't even in the projects. Okay, so tune in. We love you. Keep God first.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. I am Antonio Parkinson. Again, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. All month long, we're going to be discussing mental health. Shout out to Alliance Healthcare. Wait a minute. Look at it.
Yeah, better put some respect on his name.
Respect on my name, right?
Yeah.
And rightfully so. We are truly appreciative of Alliance Healthcare for stepping up and sponsoring the shows this month so that we could really dive in head first and talk about all of these things that are dealing with mental health. It's so important to us, Angelica, because, you know, it's such a stigma in the Black community when it comes to getting mental health help, you know, and even when we know it, when we see it, and that comes from generations, right? Of individuals, of people saying, you know, you don't want to be labeled as crazy. I remember my mom used to say
Crazy, yeah.
that you don't want to be labeled as crazy because it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Or it's gonna. We say on our podcast when we got together, people you think gonna pray, you're gonna pray it away. It'll be okay.
Yeah,
Jesus is gonna
yeah.
fix it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't
They
really
over there
address
dealing-
it. It's a
they
cultural
over
thing.
there hearing and seeing, dealing with paranoia, schizophrenia, severe depression, severe bipolar, and we're gonna cast these demons out.
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ
Yeah.
Kojak.
I just like the fact that we talking about it. Keep talking about it more and more, and showing that you don't have to just deal with it by yourself.
Yeah.
I could say, man, brother Caswell, we just talked to him earlier, and Touche and Ricky Floyd, these gentlemen,
Yeah,
I call
and-
them at any
yeah.
time of the
Black
night,
men.
and they
Yeah.
step up and they help me. You know, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I went through my thing. You know, I raised
Yeah.
4 kids by myself. So
Hold on, by
and it was-
yourself.
Yeah. He was single daddy over there. We both were,
Single
right?
dad,
Remember?
really?
Yeah. We both was going
Yeah.
through it. So
And I was raising
need to
Charlie
pick up-
Caswell, man. Imagine what I was going through.
So we, Black men, we got to reach out. We got to reach out.
Yeah.
We definitely got to reach out to each other, man,
We
and
do,
help each
man.
other. And I love that we talking about this more and more. You know,
Yeah, man. Shout out to Alliance Healthcare
I know they're
for stepping
awesome.
up, man.
Yeah.
Give them a
So
round.
one more time.
Yeah, man. Y'all made that possible, man. They put their money where their mouth is, literally.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta give it to them.
Yep.
Dr. Alta Stewart
Yeah.
is in the building. Dr. Alta Stewart, she is my shero. I've been like a groupie with her for a very long time.
As long as you ain't calling her baby mama.
Right,
Everybody think your baby mama.
She almost was my baby mama, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Okay.
Not gonna talk about it right now. Dr. Alta Stewart, Dr. Stewart, you gotta get. First of all, tell us what first you made. You are the first.
You sound
Ooh, okay, I'm the first Black president of the American Psychiatric Association. In 175 years of history, they have never had a Black president.
That is incredible.
We're not sure, but I may be the first president from Tennessee of that association. We're
Man,
not sure.
Right. We'll claim it. We'll claim it.
I was one of the first girls admitted to Christian Brothers back in the day,
Wow.
in the first class.
We can clap for that. Yeah.
And most recently, I'm the first senior associate dean for community health engagement at the University of Tennessee Health Sciences.
Now, so we just wanted to preface with that to let y'all know she knows what she's talking.
She said them
Right.
credentials right on
She
out.
did.
Before we start, them
Right.
credentials is there.
Right.
I ain't modest. I
Yeah,
take
don't-
after you.
Don't be.
You ain't modest. You ain't modest. But I'm modest.
I run
Dr.
with
Stewart.
Charlie Caswell.
You are. You
so
run with Weezy.
Y'all gonna
Dr.
leave him
Stewart.
alone.
Yeah.
Ain't no
y'all gonna leave him
modesty in our
alone.
game. No,
Dr.
sir.
Stewart, go on, call him Weezy one time on
I
the show.
can't. I
Come on,
can't.
Dr. Stewart, do it for the vine.
Wheezy.
She said Weezy. She said Weezy.
For the vine.
It was a hell tilt for me, Weezy.
But you know, Commissioner Caswell is like a son to me. I'm sitting over there listening to him talk about ACEs, lecture,
Right.
give a talk
Right.
about ACEs,
Right.
knowing where we all started with
Yes.
the ACEs
Yes.
program.
Yes.
And I'm just a proud parent
Yes.
right now. I'm just a proud parent. And thank you for recognizing
Man.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
yes.
we don't talk about it enough in the Black community.
Yes.
It's a secret. It's a
Yes.
stigma. It's something that we're ashamed of.
Right.
And everybody knows somebody who is suffering psychologically.
And severe though. But
Yes.
see, and you know,
Yes.
let's stay there for a second because, you know, one of the things that I talk about at the state is with the commissioner of mental health, who we love, you know, Commissioner Williams. We, you know, she can't say what she really wants to say because she's appointed by the governor.
Yeah.
But I can say what I want to say because I'm
Oh,
not.
Lord.
Right. And one of the things that I always harp on is we're not even in a regular crisis when it comes to mental health. We are in a severe crisis in our state
Pandemic
when it comes to mental health.
proportions. Pandemic
Yes.
proportions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The same kind of response that we did with COVID is what we need to mount right now for mental health in,
Yes.
in our state.
Agreed.
Now that's
And
scary.
specifically, we need to do that on behalf of these children.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Let me qualify it even a little further. There's not one single person now, and I reach out to the audience. Audience, how many of you know someone directly that is in severe mental health crisis right now at this moment? And I can almost guarantee you
I
that
told you.
everybody will
You know my
raise their
story.
hand.
3 out
I
of 4
told you.
people.
3 out of 4.
If you look
Yes.
around the room with 4 people in it, 3 of them are suffering from some level of psychological distress.
one
It
of
may
us-
not be the serious level, you know, paranoid schizophrenia,
Right, right.
severe bipolar, but an anxiety disorder can
Yes.
cripple you.
Yes. Yeah.
PTSD can
Right.
make you paralyzed.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And-
It's really bad out there.
it's really bad.
And it's bad in the Black community still because of the stigma, because of the lack of access, because we don't have enough Black mental health professionals. If you want to see somebody that looks like you, that you think will understand you, there aren't enough of us.
And so that's
And
why
that's
we're so
crazy for it to be
right.
majority Black. That's
Right.
crazy
Yeah,
for that to
yeah.
even be a statement right now.
And which speaks to the importance of us having the Black doctors on the
Yeah.
last show. You know, Dr. Townsend and and the others that came on the show, which so it's vitally important.
We
Because,
got to encourage more young people to see this as a path to their career.
Yeah.
And not just that I don't want to be a counselor, a therapist, or a social worker. We really have to motivate kids early to see this as the way to help their community, to
agreed.
offer service.
Agreed.
I've had over 40 years of a career in mental health, primarily working in the Black community in 4 different states.
Come on now. Come on now.
Okay.
In 4 different states.
In 4 different states.
Right. Well, you're highly sought after, you know, and highly valued. So we need you to stay here.
Well, I'm from Memphis, so I ain't going. I left here to
Right.
get trained and all of that, but I'm home now.
Yeah,
South
right.
Memphis, down in the bottom.
Right. Okay. You're from South Memphis. All right. Okay. You know, well, we want to welcome you officially to the capital of Memphis.
Well,
in 38128.
I'm sorry, you're a little late because I was already adopted as a foster child
Right.
by most of Fraser and Raleigh.
Okay, there you go. There you are.
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you for that. But we need to make it official that you're in the capital of Memphis, right here in 38128.
Okay.
And right. Yeah. So
All right.
so
All
we
right.
want to be clear on that.
All right.
Angelica, what's trending that has to do with ACEs?
Now I want to piggyback to go back to. I wish we could show all the faces when we watched the video because Dr. Stewart hadn't seen the video and a couple of our guests haven't seen the video.
Yeah,
And the girl
and
shooting
we're
in
going
New
to
York.
we're going to show the video right now.
Law before it be a mother effing fraud. Sunglasses, a gray top, and she had a dogger bag. The CV gave the description of a female black with long braids with the white baseball cap, white shirt.
What glasses did I steal from Montclair?
Mommy, I know who it was.
What glasses did I steal? Thank you.
Stop recording it now. You should not be recording it without our permission.
For my safety. Thank you.
My aunt stole glasses. It wasn't her. Do she have a fucking white t-shirt on? No. My soul. Leave my mother alone.
I don't have nothing though. This is crazy.
But my grandfather, she don't have nothing. I'm gonna kill somebody, bro.
But no, there's a young girl in there, actually in New York, and she was shopping with her mother and maybe her aunt, apparently, I don't know. But the mom was accused of stealing some sunglasses, and the police, rolled up on them outside and arrested her. But the child response was going viral. She was very upset, cursing. I mean, like a grown person, that little old body. Mm-hmm. And she also made a statement of like something like on her dead father. Too, we didn't get to that part. Mm-hmm. So so that lines up to what we're talking about right now. We're not even going to talk about the description of the person that was stealing had braids, and the mom did not even have braids. Right. But that's a whole nother topic. So that's what we're talking about.
But it's the response from the baby, though. The response of the baby, right?
Hurts.
Right. And before
we've witnessed then how ACEs happen.
And how quickly.
That is an adverse childhood experience that will remain with that child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with that, let's walk around the table. 5 signs, and we're talking about the adults. So 5 signs you are contributing to the ACEs of your child. Give us one.
The way we interact with our children in a demeaning, pejorative, abusive way, verbally, physically, emotionally, that contributes to ACEs.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't want to come to DJ Kojak because he ain't even ready yet. Angelica, give us one.
Mine is over-sexualizing children.
Oh.
We try to grow up our children too fast, from the way they from the dress, the hair. We set them up for the okie doke is what I say. We set them up. Just give them time. There's a lot of time. They're going to grow up. We don't have to force them to grow up so fast. It's almost like adults get off on their kids looking grown.
Yeah, let them be babies.
Yeah, just let them be babies. Put some barrettes in their hair. Right. They don't need a lace front.
Because the consequence of doing that is that other people believe that and respond to them in that way. And that's how little girls get approached by old men and all kinds of other stuff that is a contributor to ACEs. Right. So this is the setup.
Yeah. Send them up for the okie doke.
Yeah. DJ Kojak, 5 signs that you as an adult or a parent is contributing to your child's ACEs.
Well, one, I guess I'll piggyback off the great doctor. Well, emotional intelligence. A lot of the times we don't know how to deal with our feelings. And if they see that, they can reciprocate that. And I understand that I'm talking about even my situation. Mm-hmm. You can't go back, but I would have handled it a little different because then they start to act like that. They don't know how to deal with the anger. If you get upset about something outside your home and you bring it into the home, and now you're giving them more than what they like, wait a minute, this.
Give an example of that.
Where'd that come from?
Okay, like if you come, you lost your job, you can't pay your bills, and you come inside the house. Or I've seen this working at the Department of Human Service. Women, they come in, they try to get their, stamps, but can't get it, and the baby right there.
Amen.
Now, if the person behind the screen don't give them their stamps, they're upset now. And I've seen them hit the baby right. I'm like, why didn't
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
I'm like, wait a minute, she ain't got nothing to do with you not getting your stamp.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
So the baby, they pick that up.
Right.
And so when they react, it's with the same energy.
That's what happened in that story then. That's what you're saying.
Even what Kojak was saying and what the commissioner was saying, I think relationships, which this has account, can cause ACEs.
That's triggering.
Yeah, so like he was saying about being married, or I don't know what happened in their marriage, but whatever. The relations that we have, which can be over sexualizing, making we protect our homes, how we big about that, or the type of how they see us interact with relationships cause the things we entertain cause. I think relationships is one too, a big one. Yeah.
I'm gonna just throw 2 out there. One is and it really encapsulates a lot of them is leaving that child unprotected. You know, and that means, and I know, parents have to go to work, this, that, and other, but sometimes those children are left home with other children or an adult that should not be left with that child, at that time. And so that's a major one. But I think it's important to throw this one out there. One of us, I can't remember, I think it might have been Michelle, brought it up in pre-meeting, is that a parent that has mental health issues and not getting the intervention themselves, contributes to the basis of that child. Growing up in a household with a parent with mental health child issues is a high contributor to adverse childhood experiences.
You bring up a good point, because many of the people who suffer with mental illness also have children.
Yes.
We tend to think of them as single and on their own and locked up for most of their lives, but a lot of them have children. And the writer, B.B. Moore Campbell, wrote a children's book specifically talking about the parent has a mental illness and what does that mean for the child? How does that child deal with that parent, learn to deal with a parent with mental illness? It's a great book. And we're coming up on B.B. Moore Campbell Minority Mental Health Month in July. So I recommend it to people.
Oh, can you get her here to the show?
No, she died.
Oh, okay.
We don't want
Put that in the link.
Yeah.
Put that in the link.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that a little bit. Growing up in a household with a parent with mental health issues. Here's the thing about that is, children grow up believing everything that the parent gives them, right? That's the first line of offense for a child, right? A parent feeding into their child. Now, if you have a parent that has mental health issues and they are feeding that what they believe, see, hear, think into the mind of that child, what's the possibilities of that child growing
The child
up with
is
mental
very
health
confused.
Right.
The child has what we would describe as a disrupted development. Okay. It is not stopped, because as long as they're with that parent, they're going to have that parent-child interaction. But it is terribly disrupted and can result in them picking up on things and doing things consistent with what we will later say is a mental illness.
Yeah. Wow.
Depression, bipolar, these are things that we recognize in families.
Right.
So it's not guaranteed that as a child of somebody with bipolar, you're going to have bipolar.
Yeah.
But it is possible. And if you do, and the model for dealing with it is what your parent did.
Yeah.
That's another setup. That's another setup.
That's a scary setup.
But and going back to my story, of how I saw how people dealt with bullies, right? Literally saw kids my age kill an adult right standing next to me because the adult was bullying the kid. And that became my belief system. I said, oh, this is how we do it.
And see, y'all were talking with Commissioner Caswell, and it reminded me that one of the things that we have to remind ourselves is it's not what's wrong with you, it's what's happened to you. These are not bad kids.
Right.
The same way the child doesn't get born and grow up saying, oh, I think I'm going to be the shooter. The parent does not look down on that newborn and say, love of my life that I just gave birth to, please grow up and kill somebody. Please grow up and commit heinous crimes.
Right.
These are things that happen over the course of the development. The child's brain doesn't even develop until they're at least 26 years old.
Right.
So all of that time that we have them and we're exposing them to all of these horrible things, violence in your community, violence in the home, domestic abuse, bullying at school, being told you're dumb, you just like your daddy, you just a dumb, blah, 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 or you just like your mom, I hate you. All of that stuff imprints on that child. And Commissioner Caswell said it. We busy hitting the branches and not paying attention to the roots.
Right. And
the roots cause.
And let's we're going to use this as partially as a segue, but I think about, when I started out, I was in all advanced placement classes. And then, when them aces start kicking in, next thing you know, I'm in.
All your grades drop.
I'm barely getting by. But here's what's interesting. All of the counselors in my high school missed me. All they saw was the shell, the behavior. But the Marine Corps, which is where, thank God for the Marine Corps, they saw all of my potential. I was still the state representative in the making, right? But the counselors didn't provide any assistance to go to college, this, that, and other. And when I went to the Marine Corps, they offered me a free ride to any college of my choice. That's Harvard, Princeton, wherever I want to go, based on my scores. So what's
They saw the potential,
Right.
and they nurtured it.
Yes.
They nurtured it.
Right.
They said, you are
got
not
time
just
for
a
that.
bad kid with a bad attitude.
Right.
It's something else inside of you, son, and we're going to pull it out.
Right. Or they said he was already going to be a killer, so he fit right in the Marine Corps. So,
I think it was B.
Hey, you're
I
watching
think
the
it was
Antonio
B.
Parkinson Project. When we come back now, we are going to talk about another trending story about the teacher that was doing her OnlyFans video in the elementary classroom. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Guessing to find you. I always in the mood. I told you, you always wanted something like this. Hold on to
Hey guys, what's up? It's Elise Neal. You are watching the Antonio Parkinson Project. Stay tuned.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. Lord, I hope we have sound because LeContier is on these LeContier shots.
She in her head, we got sound.
look,
That's all that-
look, hey, Kojak, I walk around there and she's sipping the shot. I'm like, she's sipping it. I mean, she is really in, with her eyes closed.
She's definitely about 3 up.
She about 3 up. Yeah. This,
Look at her, she winking like.
yeah. But look, Angelica, my lovely co-host Angelica, y'all give it up for Angelica.
So nice. Can I say something before we go to Kojak? Okay, everybody give over Kojak.
Okay.
Look, I took over real fast.
Right,
Okay,
right,
now come
right,
back. Now come back. Come back.
Right, okay.
Now, doctor, before we change subjects, we had a very important conversation offset. And I need you to say it on air for me one time. Okay, we talked about child. Y'all laughing over there? Michelle laughing.
Okay.
We talked about development, right? He said the age of 26 is when it's fully developed.
Not the brain of a child does not fully develop before the age of 26.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for them, males develop later
Okay,
than females.
I just want to get that on record. Now, what was the credentials in the beginning? To drop those credentials. The first black, Okay, all right, let's continue. Aces, all right.
Stan.
I want to get it on air. Look,
They
everybody looking at me like,
They coming at us, Stan. They coming at us.
The truth is the light.
Look.
yeah.
Get this shot. Look, she done dropped her little drink over there. You know.
First of all, I don't have a drink.
Here you go. Put that on there.
I got it.
Yeah,
The truth is the light.
The truth is the light.
It's the science, buddy.
Right.
It's
Angelica,
the science.
a famous quote from Angelica Jelly Wood. She once said,
Oh, Lord.
"There's a little truth in every lie."
Yeah, that is true.
Right. And so is it for that drink that you just spilled. But go
But
ahead.
there's a line in Pearly Victorious that says, I never ever told a lie that I didn't intend at some point to make the truth.
Oh, y'all, you need
I
to
like
thank
that.
Bars. Dropping bars. That's right. Look, that's right.
Now you on something there, okay?
Yeah. So look, let me set this up. First of all, Dr. Stewart, you are a joy to have on this show. You're welcome to come anytime.
Thank you.
But let me set this up. So shout out to Dr. Quanell X down in Houston and his team. Apparently, this teacher, Dr. Stewart, was shooting her OnlyFans video footage, butt booty naked,
She's on 2 classes.
in the elementary school classroom, and apparently had only her school badge on. Yeah. So talk about adverse childhood experiences, right? So
Talk
how-
about a picture we don't want in our mind.
right. Well, let's run the video.
You really can't make this stuff up. It is absolutely appalling, shameful, and frightening that these are the type of educators that are in an elementary school teaching our children. When parents send their children to school, they believe their teachers are people of the utmost highest character. But now we got a teacher in the classroom on school hours stripping down butt naked, bending over, and showing everything on the video, and all you could see was cellulite hanging in pubic hair.
All right. So we've all seen the video, right? And what cracked me up, and I probably shouldn't be laughing at this, is that Dr. Cornell X said she pulled her clothes down and bent over and spread her cheeks, and all you seen was cellulite and pubic hairs.
Would it better if she had a Brazilian wax?
You know, I always say there's a market for everything.
I'm gonna take a drink over
Okay, go
that.
ahead.
Yeah, real quick.
Angelica's taking us down the rabbit hole.
But you know,
I always say,
ACEs, I'm not saying I'm condoning this, but you know, if she's feeding into a fantasy of a fan, the OnlyFans page, whatever it's called, some people like teachers. You know, she has a setting. People do anything for content.
or maybe they ain't paying the teachers enough down in Houston Independent School
I ain't
District.
going there. I'm not going that far. But I'm just saying, maybe she was setting up a scene and she had
it was definitely a
maximized.
scene.
Look at Dr. Stewart like, no, you need a check.
and again, there's a market for everything and everybody. Somebody likes cellulite and pubic hairs.
Yeah, what's wrong with cellulite?
And I don't have an issue. You know, we like tiger stripes, but
I didn't say no. Cellulite. Whoa.
Okay.
Cellulite.
Let's get back to
Cellulite and stretch marks are two different things. You said tiger stripes. Cellulite is not tiger stripes.
We like them all.
Okay, I'm just clarifying. I didn't say. I said cellulite.
Dr. Stewart, help us.
Let's climb out the rabbit hole.
Come on, let's go back.
climb out the
Okay, thank you, Dr.
cellulite
Stewart.
rabbit hole.
Thank you.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
What I will say about this is two things. Her judgment in shooting this on school property is something that we should really be concerned about.
Now you said something.
Okay. Now that's the first concern I have. You can have a side hustle. You can have a special place that you know like to show.
Show your cellulite.
Yeah, yes, and whatever else you got.
And your public hairs. Right.
But on school property is so many ways wrong. Okay. The second thing is the fact that it was discovered. And I didn't hear what happened as a result of them finding out about it, if she retained her job.
No, she got fired.
She got fired.
But my question is, before you move forward, Dr. Stewart.
For the children and the parents who heard about it and the children who likely heard about it, now we got to deal with the fact that this destroyed their whole picture of teacher.
Or
met the boy's fantasy.
Or improved it, right.
You know about that brain thing.
You said improved it. Oh my God, I'm done.
You know that brain thing about development.
There you go.
But some of them fantasies that people have.
Dr. Stewart,
There you go.
it ain't a safe teacher in that elementary school now.
Well, then I think if we just want to focus on the likelihood of adverse childhood experiences as a result of just hearing the story, not, hopefully nobody has shown them the video, but just hearing the story. Well, kids can find just about anything. So
that's true. But who was watching her OnlyFans page
I'm not even going there.
Some of the students probably was. They probably have fake accounts.
No, sir. I'm not commenting on that.
You're not
I'm not commenting on that.
Somebody was watching it.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody's watching it to turn it in.
But if we get back to ACEs,
right?
The wife was prepared to find her husband.
Somebody got caught watching it.
The wife caught the husband
and told watching it, and the wife was like,
"Right,
is that your?"
Well, how do you recognize her from that position?
Hey, Dad, that's Miss Smith.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Miss Smith. That's what that little 5-year-old was.
I'm going to pivot regardless. We are moving in the state, and you may have heard this from Commissioner Williams. We are moving in the state away from just a focus on adverse childhood experiences to looking for the positive childhood experience to counter some of these things. If we can't prevent abuse in the home, if we can't prevent community violence, if we can't prevent people from getting divorced, incarcerated, and all the other stuff that contributes to ACEs, we need to focus on what we can do that is positive and proactive. And to that end, one of the things we're trying to do in Memphis is to break the narrative of lock them up. Lock them up.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Lock them up cannot be the only
Put his name on there on the screen. Her name. Never mind.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
lock them up cannot be the only solution.
Right.
When we acknowledge on the one hand that it's not what's wrong with them, it's what happened to them.
Right.
And then the only solution is lock them up because they just bad kids.
Let's pause right there and let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit. So me and Kojak said this, and I actually got this from Kojak.
What, you got something from Kojak?
Yeah.
in the world?
A rare
Oh,
moment
Lord,
when he
that
didn't
took me-
Kojak us.
That took me for Lord. That took me for surprise. I'm sorry,
Right.
Kojak.
Let the man talk.
I'm sorry. Okay.
DJ Kojak said this one time. He said, "My children got two different fathers. There you go,
Oh
but
yeah,
the same
that
person."
was profound.
Yeah.
Right, and it was absolutely profound. Mine got two different fathers too, same person. One, my oldest child got the dad that just followed what he was taught by his parents, which was a lot of stuff that probably shouldn't have been bad ways of parenting. The second child, Kirsten, got, and I remember stopping my daughter's mama, who was a wonderful mother to my child. So let me be clear about this. She was speaking a little, what I considered a little harshly to Kirsten at the time, right? And I remember stopping her. I said, we're not going to do that with this child, right? It's all going to be positive reinforcement, right? And here's how I would correct Kirsten. She could do something, and instead of, you ain't supposed to be doing that, you're not supposed to this, that, and other, such, I can't believe you did that, this, that, and other. It was, Kirsten, come on now. You know you better than that. And when I say the market difference in the outcomes, right? And how that child responds.
Positive into
Come
her.
on. And how that child responds, because Kirsten became one that I want my parents to be proud of me, right? I want to please my parents. And her success is showing because of that, that the way that she was reared, which was different than the way my oldest child was reared.
And
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
And do you know that in Shelby County, Memphis and Shelby County, we did not have a youth reentry program for all of those kids that were sent to Wilder, for all of the kids who spent time in detention, for any child who was transferred on an adult charge and came out. There was no reentry program specifically designed to support them. Our friend DeAndre does a wonderful job on the adult side,
For the adults,
but that's 18 and over.
Right.
What happens to that child who
Speaking
went
of
in?
that,
Who went in at 11 or 12?
That child that went into DCS.
Okay. Yeah.
We need reentry from DCS.
And that can be a part of it.
Right.
We finally have, with a collaborative agreement with the juvenile court, we finally are able to start the first ever youth reentry program in Shelby County. So that these kids don't get lost. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, people can say a lot about the University of Tennessee, okay, and what they don't do. They can say this community has had its share of problems with the university. But I will tell you this, in the last 10 years, we have been in the community working directly with, one of the first programs I worked on with Commissioner Caswell was a how to create in the community those natural community supports and bring them into the system so they can get funding, so they can get established, so they can get these contracts. That's one of the first things we worked on. And out of that, Legacy of Legends survives and thrives.
Right. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
That's how you do it.
Let me go back to anybody talking about UTHSC. You ain't gonna talk about UTHSC with me. Not when my guy Ken Brown was there and all of the good work that was coming out of there. And one thing about University of Tennessee Health Science Center, they were community supportive. I'm serious. And it wasn't a hard ask to ask them to come in, hey, we need this, that. That. Remember when we was doing putting the counselors out and after the police shooting and all that stuff, man, we've leaned heavily on University of Tennessee Health Science.
The commitment to the community is well known. What I'm talking about is the last decade of commitment to the children and families in their community in a specific way around mental health, around trauma, around re-entry from these residential programs. How many kids do we send away every year out of state?
Oh yeah.
You know the number because y'all see the budget.
Yeah. And it costs $400 a month to house an adult inmate. It costs $16,000 a month to house a child.
And under 18 youth.
Right.
And
And
under 18 youth.
and that's
And I'm gonna tell you, The Fraser Raleigh community has changed the narrative for young people by investing along with us and groups like Alliance, by investing in their support services, not just giving them the mental health care, but the other stuff. We have people who are family support specialists who have worked with their own children in the system, got trained, now they're working with other people's children.
That's awesome.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
Economic development, forward movement, a pathway to a career for people who had no hope.
Right.
Because they were stuck at, I got to go to juvenile court because he got picked up. I got to go to the mental health center because he need his medicine. I got to go to the school because he going to get expelled. They were caught up in the cycle of, I got to fix what is wrong. It's not what's wrong with them. It is what has happened to them.
Yeah.
That's what everybody needs to start saying every day. Get up and say, it's not what's wrong with that child. That news story that shows us the guy with the braids and he shot somebody, it's a problem. Yes, it is. But the lock them up narrative cannot be the only thing we say about our children.
Yeah, well, not
and
just that. Not
and
just
we got to stop calling our children juveniles.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change that language.
Right. Right. And not just
Maybe
that.
you
but,
and Commissioner Caswell can come up with a law.
Yeah, right. But we'll do that. But a lot of it also is in the fact that I'll give you an example. The state of Tennessee will fund putting a resource officer in every school in the state of Tennessee. Every single school in the state of Tennessee, it has been funded. Private schools too. But we can't fund putting a nurse in every single school in the state of Tennessee. That's a problem there. And right?
It is a big problem.
Our priorities are so out of whack. And what is important to and then when you look at again the fact that we're talking about $16,000 a month. Imagine somebody, who was our mathematicians in here? What's $16,000 a month times 10 months? That's $160,000, right? Imagine what that $160,000
thousands of kids.
Right. Right. Imagine what that $160,000 could do in a preventative form.
Getting upstream is the accepted public health approach around the world. Getting upstream, once you identify the problem, you don't just keep fixing the problem where it is after it's developed. You get upstream. You look at root causes. You look at things that have made a difference. Some of the stuff that we are doing that we say is intervention, violence prevention and stuff, it sounds nice.
Right.
It looks good when you see it on TV and people are out there talking and stuff like that. But what is the impact really of those things?
Yeah, well, what I've learned is this. You can't take the ish that these individuals say as their actual truth. Because a lot of times they say what sounds good. I'll give you an example. You hear them talking about, we want to reduce recidivism. We want to reduce recidivism. And yet at the same time, they don't give those 72% of the inmate population that's on mental health meds, they don't give them but a 30-day supply of medicine when they come out.
Leave out. That was crazy when I heard that.
And so now, when they cut up, they're going to be right back in prison. They also don't factor in the fact that there's a contract with at least one of the private prisons that says you have to keep these beds at over 90% capacity or we're going to fine the state. So it's kind of hard to say we want to reduce recidivism and then have a contract to keep the prison full.
It's a much.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
So this mental health thing is where they are now housing, the mental health patients in the prisons right now. And so is the two don't. We can't take what they say seriously unless we see them actually putting some effort
And with our
behind.
children, most of the work that we really need to do with them is in school. Both you and Commissioner Caswell have talked about school. And the program that came to mind when y'all were talking, who understands what went on with that child when they come in and they're behaving in a certain way? There's a national model for that called Handle with Care, where a child who witnesses something, a violent killing or gunshot or, something, a fire in the neighborhood or something, somebody at that site the police or somebody at that site transmits information to assure that when that child goes to school, the teacher doesn't say, get your head up off the desk or get out of my class. That the teacher understands, you went through something last night. If you need to rest for a while, it's okay.
Yes.
Or sends them to the quiet room so that they can just let it all out. Or ask the school nurse or the school social worker or psychologist to come talk to them.
Or make it mandatory for that parent to get that child
Any of those
some
things would
intervention.
work. Any of those things.
Right, because the
Right
child
now-
is insured
Yeah.
under 10 care
Well,
in most cases, right?
well, we have
No?
some challenges
Okay.
because some of the things that happen that knock people off the rolls, people haven't gotten back on. And even though every child is eligible, you have to sign up.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to
yeah,
sign
yeah.
up.
We had that conversation in
You
committee.
have to sign
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And right now we've got multiple opportunities in the schools. We've got
Mm-hmm.
school-based. Talk about Commissioner Williams. He funded additional slots for school-based behavioral health liaisons
Right.
so that every school that we are working with has one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that whatever happens to that child, somebody can immediately interact. It's run out of Alliance, your good
You're right.
partner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome.
Alliance is building the first ever children's crisis unit.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Standing
I
like
don't-
that. Look, standing like that. Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
and we partner with Alliance because they provide excellent mental health services. I think they must be in 20 sites now across the city.
Right. Yeah.
But they provide excellent mental health services. They're good partners. They recognize the cultural needs of each community they work in, and they don't play around. They don't play
Talking
around.
highly, they paying you a check, Doc.
No,
I'm
Right, right. Look, they need to.
No.
But look, we got to
I,
wrap. We
I
have
can't take a check from them.
I'm
'cause
messing with you.
they're not with the university. I can't take their check.
But look, we have to wrap this up. Unfortunately, you know, these segments go by incredibly fast. Y'all give it up for Dr. Alta Stewart.
Man.
Yes, yes, man.
Thank you, thank you,
Absolutely
thank you.
amazing.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. Also, I, you know, this is our last show on mental health. You know, unfortunately, well, anyway, during Mental Health Awareness Month, we're going to continue to talk about mental health because it's so vitally important. But we have to give a shout out to Alliance Healthcare, who has been an incredible
they're
partner,
awesome.
an incredible partner. You know, when it comes to the Antonio Parkinson Project and mental health. I'm told I have to talk about tomorrow. We have a show tomorrow, a special, the Antonio Parkinson Project special with comedian Alfred Kanga. He's going to be in the building tomorrow at 11 a.m. So that we're going to be live with him. So make sure you tune in. Also, next month, June, is Black Music Month.
Yeah,
And so I think our first show, we have John Best on the show.
Yeah.
John the best.
Yeah, yeah. Angelica calls him John the Baptist. I mean, John the Best.
The best.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right.
John
And
the
we're going to
Best.
be talking about Black music all month long in the month of
Yes.
June. So make sure you tune in.
Got a lot of my friends coming too, man. We
Okay, I got that on air, right?
we got DJ Zert. We got DJ
Oh,
Zert
oh,
coming.
you dropping names?
Yeah, yeah, we dropping
I'm
names.
scared, I'm scared.
Drop
We got
his name,
Reginald
but-
Boy.
Is that the LeContier? Is that the
Well, he
LeContier?
ain't
We're going to take it
nobody.
back to
Right, right.
OTS.
I ain't
Okay.
seen their names on the date. Michelle, you seen their names on the date? Right, yeah. All the Kojaks.
So you said you
got
got
that
that.
shit.
You got that.
Right. That's like Angelica said. He's on the phone. He ain't talking to nobody.
I'm not talking to nobody. Ain't talking to nobody on the phone.
But again, you know, make sure you tune in. It's a great time to hit that subscribe button. Go and hit the subscribe button. Also, lastly, I want to tell you we are the fastest growing visual podcast
Come
in
on
the
now.
Memphis market.
The-
I think we have eclipsed now. We're over. I think we're at almost 2,200 subscribers on the YouTube only. That's not talking about TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and the numbers over there. But you know, we are really killing the game. Shout out to our team and LeContier.
On her last
Come on, get in the camera. Get in the camera. Get in the camera over here.
You'll be back. You'll be back.
Get
All right, we'll be back with that old whack countdown that never gets us on the air. Yeah, but we thank you, LeContier, for everything you've done to help grow the show.
so
Started with us
amazing.
from the beginning. Yeah, absolutely incredible asset to the Antonio Parkinson Project. So we'll see you tomorrow. So make sure you tune in live tomorrow at 11 a.m. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project. Thank you. We'll see you on the next show.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Powered by Black Market Strategies.